going on, everybody? This is Kerry Wood, sportsandswag.com, Sports and Swag Podcast, welcoming you into another edition, talking about the NBA playoffs and the Western Conference Finals that started out today between the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs winning that game. The Warriors winning that game, coming back from a 25-point deficit. 25 points to basically steal that game away from San Antonio. And you know that had to make Greg Popovich steaming mad, man. You know that man is... had him in the locker room going off about Donald Trump again. Man, just a terrible loss for the Spurs, just to be real about it. Losing Kawhi Leonard again in the process. Man, you have to feel for him. You have to feel for the team. But you still have to find a way to finish that game, man. You still have to find a way. They had opportunities. And they had a 23-point lead when he went out of the game. And before you know it, that thing was down to 5. 18-0 run before the end of the third quarter. So, but the thing about it is this. The Spurs, I think, found that they have the advantage, no question, on the interior. I don't care who, I really don't care who's in there. JaVale McGee is the biggest guy they have, of course, that can protect the rim, get in there and block shots and all of that, but he only played 1 minute in this ball game. Zaza Pachulia only played 11 minutes total in this ball game. So you have to wonder about that. Wondering how they'll be able to go forward playing those two guys that length of time, and the Spurs having their advantage on the inside with Aldridge and, say Paul Gasol. Of course, Paul Gasol still really hasn't shown up, especially not when he's really been needed. And, in huge moments, he hasn't shown up. But still, the advantage is there for the Spurs on the interior. There's a big if in that. That is if they can get the pace of the game. If they can slow things down and get, that half-court pace going, they can exploit the Warriors on the interior. And we saw a little bit of that from Aldridge today, having 28 points. And Pau Gasol, man, this is just, 5 points for Pau Gasol in 16 minutes of play. 5 points. This dude, we're talking about a first ballot Hall of Famer in a lot of people's eyes. A lot of people's eyes, as soon as this guy hangs him up, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, not, as soon as he hangs them up, but you know what I mean. This guy's got to do better than that. He has got to do better than that. LaMarcus Aldridge, at least I can say that he was aggressive. I can't say that he was really good down the stretch, but at least he was aggressive. He did take shots. There were, you listened to my podcast of a couple nights ago. We talked about him passing up shots against Houston in that game 5 where the Spurs found a way to win it in overtime. When we talked about that tonight, Aldridge was a lot better than that as far as the aggressiveness, but he still didn't get shots to fall when they needed them. He had some big-time shots, big-time chances to get the Spurs to maybe keep that lead, maybe take the lead back after Golden State had gotten the lead, and a lot of them he did not convert. And he's got to be bigger than that. I know he had 28 points, but he's going to have to probably have 30 and above now with Kawhi Leonard out of the, hopefully Kawhi's going to be able to play game 2. Let's talk about that for a quick second. What this really means in terms of, going forward, game 2, if the Spurs win this game, they could probably rest Kawhi easily, knowing they've done what they need to do in Oakland, getting the home court advantage. They could easily rest Kawhi, bring him back. They wouldn't have to bring him back until Saturday. He would have gotten plenty of rest and could have gotten that ankle back in pretty decent shape for game 3 there in Texas. But man, all of that goes by the wayside. 17 points from Manu Ginobili gone to waste. 17 points from the nearly 40-year-old Manu Ginobili. 12 points from Jonathan Simmons, another strong performance by him off of the bench. I mean, this is a dude that has come in and just been doing it. I mean, he is, to me, was the difference in that Houston series. I mean, point blank simple. He was the difference in my book. I mean, Aldridge had a really nice game Thursday night against Houston, but I mean, the things Simmons did on the floor against Houston, against James Harden and those dudes, man, you can't underestimate it. And he came out and did the same thing again. Like when he grabbed that rebound and he went up over, I think it was Draymond Green. There was about 2.5 minutes to go in that ball game today. I said, man, the Spurs gonna win this game. They're gonna pull this thing out. This dude just makes plays, period. So, all that said, I think, even despite Kawhi's injury, re-injuring that ankle, I think you don't have to feel too bad if you're a Spurs fan. I mean, you controlled that game and it just got away from you in the third quarter. If Kawhi can come back some kind of way and you can get LaMarcus Aldridge, maybe, getting somebody else to help him on the inside. Gasol, apparently Pop doesn't have a lot of confidence in Dedmon. But he's playing David Lee a little bit more, of course. And I don't know if you can get a couple of games out of David Lee where he steps up and gives you 12 or 13 points, or maybe if Gasol would finally get whatever's going on with him and have him a big game, then you can get a little bit more rest for Aldridge and he can be stronger in the fourth quarter for you. Because, you have to look at this thing, man. I mean, Golden State, they feed off your mistakes as well as anybody. And they feed off your, shortcomings. Kawhi Leonard not being in the game was that shortcoming today, and they capitalized big time. The happiest man in the gym was Kevin Durant, man. I'm not saying he's happy that Kawhi got injured, but man, his job was a lot easier with Kawhi on the bench or in the locker room. So, again, man, it's going to be interesting to see how things go. But I think if you look at this thing from a Warriors perspective, if you're a Warriors fan, if you want to be real about this thing, you got to be a little bit worried, man. I understand about the 9 days rest, and there was a lot of rust on the team and all that. I get that. And I absolutely think that played a lot into why they played the way that they played in the first half of this game. But I think if you talk looking forward, even if they win this series, man, this is a team against decent competition. Well, in the last three playoff series, beginning today, we're not talking about Portland. We're not talking about Utah. I have much respect for the Jazz and the Trailblazers and all of that, but we're not talking about those teams. We're talking about today. We're talking about the Western Conference Finals last year against the Thunder, and we're talking about the finals against the Cavaliers. If you tally their record up, pretty mediocre. They're 8-7. 8-7 against against teams and against equal competition. I'll put it like that. Thunder, they won that series in 7. They lost, of course, in 7 to the Cavaliers, and then they win today. That's 8-7, and I don't know, man. I mean, we all know the Thunder had this team beat. They were down 3-1, and this series should have been over, but they found a way to do it. Now you look at this team. I don't know. I mean, I 8-7. I think you have to sit there and kind of think about that for a quick minute. But like I say, we're not talking about Portland. We're not talking about Utah. We're talking about the Cavaliers. We're talking about the Thunder that had Kevin Durant. We're talking about this Spurs team today that, again, Kawhi Leonard doesn't go out of that game. I think the Spurs found a way to win it. Then we've been talking about them being 7-8 below 500. I mean, this is something I thought about. I mean, again, that's not terrible, but it's bad enough where they didn't win the ring last year. They didn't win the championship last year, and I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to have to get better before, even like I say, even if they get out of this series against San Antonio, they're going to have to improve before they face the Cleveland Cavaliers, more than likely. Of course, we'll see if it is Cleveland. I would I would assume it's going to be them. Boston Celtics or the Washington Wizards may have a little to say about that, but we'll see. Looking at the Warriors, man, Steph-Curry with 40 with 40 points in the game today. He was huge. He kept them afloat when they had to be. Kevin Durant, he did his thing, 34 points. Of course, he looked fantastic when Kawhi Leonard went out of the game. I don't know, man. They're going to have to get more out of Klay Thompson. They're going to have to get more out of Draymond Green. And like I say, I don't know why we didn't see more of JaVale McGee. That small ball lineup, man, we're going to see what happens. If Paul Gasol, if this is a guy, if he can find a way to step up, if you get that performance again out of LaMarcus Aldridge, guys like Jonathan Simmons are going to defend. Guys like Danny Green will defend. Now, they may not hit a lot of shots on a nightly basis. They're going to get out there. They're going to defend. They're not going to have wide open threes all over the place. Now, we all know that the Golden State Warriors are a lot more than just shooting 3-pointers. They proved that today. They proved it numerous times. But, man, again, this series is not over. Okay, this series is not over. I picked Golden State to win this thing in 6 games. But I don't know. I think you got to be a little bit worried going forward if you're a Golden State fan, man. If you're Dub Nation right now, I think you got to be just maybe not sleeping quite as easy, because anything less than the NBA championship is going to be a failure. Period. So we'll see what happens going forward. Game 2 is Tuesday night. Let's talk quickly about what's going to happen tomorrow night, Game 7 in Boston, TD Bank Garden. The Boston Celtics hosting the Washington Wizards. Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. First thing, I'm just trying to figure out why we're playing the Western Conference final and we're not done with the Eastern Conference semifinal. I don't get that. I could have seen it if they were both today, but for that game to go off tomorrow, I just don't get that, man. But hey, it's the NBA, it's ESPN, it's TNT. What they're the geniuses. I'm gonna leave it to them. But let's talk quickly about that series. The Wizards, man, they huge down the stretch of that ball game Friday night. Getting in there, man, John Wall having the second half of his lifetime after scoring only 3 points at the half. He came out and went off and shut his critics up, at least for a night anyway. I mean, he shut them up. Now, his critics are going to come back. They're going to come back and they're going to talk continuously anyway because he hasn't been able to prove it necessarily on the road. Now, he's had fantastic performances this whole playoff. But, they haven't won a game in Boston yet. So until he does that, there's still going to be room for those critics to criticize him. We'll see if he shuts those guys up tomorrow night. That's going to be an incredible atmosphere there in Boston. It is going to be absolutely incredible there. And it's going to be a tough hill to climb for the Wizards. But the one thing I hold on to is this. I think the black man, ultimately the Celtics coming to Cleveland dressed in all black. They're coming to a funeral. They're coming to the funeral of the Washington Wizards. That may turn out to be a mistake, man. I think that is really starting to rally this ball club. And I had Boston picked in 7 to win this series, and I still am going to stick with that. But I don't know, man. John Wall, man, I love what I saw out of him Friday night. I mean, this dude stepped it up. He sat there and he said, "It's not happening on my watch. Not in DC. It's not happening. You will come to my town wearing black. You're gonna pay," and that's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened to the Boston Celtics, and you just wonder a little bit about the psyche. I mean, Boston led that game late, had their chances. Led for a good bit of that game, especially in the second half. Boston, I don't know. You just have to wonder what their psyche is like right now. What is going on through their mind, especially Friday night. Maybe having this extra day in between will help them out a little bit because they had come back today and had to play that game coming off of Friday night. Man, I don't know if Washington wouldn't have had a little bit more of an advantage. I mean, I know we talk about momentum doesn't travel between games. It doesn't travel between cities in the playoffs. I know all of that. I get it, but that was an incredible ending to that ball game. That was, Washington doing what they had to do, and Boston kind of, I'm not going to say throwing up all over themselves, but it was close. I mean, Boston really had their chance to win that game and close that thing out, and they didn't get it done. So you just have to, I'm going to be very interested to see how they start that game tomorrow night. Does the ending, is it still lingering in their mind? How is it going to affect them starting that game tomorrow night? It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be very interesting to see. Again, the winner of that series tomorrow night, man, is going to face the Cleveland Cavaliers. As soon as that game is over, we're going to have a preview of it on sportsandswag.com. I'm just going to put it out there right now. I haven't seen anything different. I thought Cleveland would repeat. LeBron getting, another repeat, his second. From right now, what I saw today, again, it was just game 1, Golden State, man, but from what I see, I don't feel any different. I don't feel any different at all. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are still going to hoist that trophy and win another NBA championship. But anyway, got a lot of basketball games, a lot of basketball to be played between now and then. Right now, I'm sitting here watching a little bit of the NHL, watching these Nashville Predators, Smashville, just scoring another goal, going up 3-2 on the Anaheim Ducks, trying to go up 2-0 themselves in that series. The Predators getting it done. Smashville is going to be out of control when they get back there for Game 3. It's going to be incredible. The NHL playoffs have been fantastic. Better than the NBA playoffs, that's for sure. That is for sure. They have been better than the NBA playoffs. You can disagree all you want. The proof is in the pudding, man. Just check it out. The proof is in the pudding. But anyway, again, I'm going to get out of here, man. Just wanted to talk about Game 1 for a few minutes. Very interesting. Going to see how San Antonio Spurs respond. Greg Popovich in rare form after the game. I think he's going to be just fine. He's going to be ready to draw up something, and Golden State Warriors better be ready. I suspect they will. They're a professional group as well. Mentally tough. They'll be fine, man. But I don't know, man. This series is far from over. So again, we're gonna be right back here again talking about it. We're gonna talk about this Washington Wizards Celtics Game 7 tomorrow night as well. We'll be live. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, Tuesday night, we'll be back here talking about Golden State and the San Antonio Spurs. Again, I want to thank you for listening in. Please follow us on various social media, Twitter, Facebook, Google+. Like the Facebook page. Visit sportsandswag.com. Check it out. I think you'll like what you see there. And, of course, like and subscribe to this podcast. That way you'll know exactly when I'm on, exactly when there's new content here. Won't have to be guessing about it. You'll know it's here, man. Without further ado, I want to wish to all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. I would be remiss without saying that. Thank you all for all that you do for us, man. The mothers, the wonderful mothers out there doing what they do on a daily basis, keeping families together, keeping families going, and just loving their kids to death, man. And just, I don't know, where would we be without mothers? Who knows? So I just want to make sure that I don't forget to tell all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day from Sports and Swag. Again, my name is Kerry Wood, a.k.a. Mr. Sports and Swag. Enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm out.